So, very recently, I signed myself up to do something that is either A, brave, B, a little bit bloody stupid, or C, a little bit of both. I'm not quite sure which one yet. I suppose we'll find out afterwards. But I've agreed to have a white collar boxing match. It's a bit of a change in direction for, at least on the surface level, change in direction of what this channel is about. This channel is predominantly talking about men's mental health. It's something that is very close to my heart. So to go from that to getting punched in the face and trying to punch someone in the face is it's a bit of a gear shift, isn't it? But there is a reason behind it, and it is related to men's mental health as well. So this is the Mancast. Thank you for tuning in. If you're interested in this kind of topic, these subjects I talk about regarding mental health and stuff, and boxing as well, as it moves forward, and potentially want to see me get punched in the face and bruised and stuff, then please subscribe, share the video as well. So yeah, I am having a boxing match. The reason I say roped into it, I wanted to do it, genuinely wanted to do it, and again, don't know if I'm being a bit stupid, but I'm really looking forward to it. About 9 months ago, something like that, a good friend of mine done exactly the same thing as I'm doing right now, with zero boxing experience. Put his name forward and said, do you know what, I'll up in the ring, it's for a good cause. Guy called Tom Newell, great guy, bit of a dick, but he's a good guy. And he asked me to be in the corner, which was a proud moment. To be asked to do that. Myself and actually the guy I'm going to be fighting against were in his corner. I'll come back to that as well, because that's a strange one. The guy I'm fighting against is a good mate of mine. I don't know how I feel about that, but he's a good lad as well. But we ended up in his corner. It was on my bucket list was to go and watch a boxing match live. I'm a huge boxing fan. Never had a boxing match, but always wanted to go and watch it live. To actually be in the corner and watch a boxing event, even though it was only amateur white collar stuff, the whole event was incredible. The whole atmosphere, it was something special, and it kind of, honestly, like, my mate Tom, he had his medical, and there was a small part of me that kind of hoped that he failed his medical so that I could hop in and replace him, because once I was there, I saw the lights, I saw the ring, I saw how the fighters are backstage, all talking with each other. Just the feeling that come across, it was something I wanted to be a part of. Now, he went on to have a second fight, and I was going to sign up for that, not to fight against him, just whoever they put me up against. The thing is, that second fight was on the exact same day as my newborn daughter's due date. No way would my wife have allowed that. I would have been safer getting in a ring than telling my wife that I'm missing my child's birth. So that was a no-go. She was born a week early and actually got to be in the corner for my mate again, which was, again, incredible. I was approached early in the night before the fighting actually commenced by the guy who was doing the event and asked, would I be interested? I was like, yes, please. So here we are. I am boxing. But like I said, it still correlates with what this channel's about, talking about mental health and specifically men's mental health, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. So I will get into that and discuss what the event is about and sort of my hopes building up to it and on the night as well, because I know I'm not going to just hop in the ring untrained and hope for the best, and there's a lot of work, a lot of commitment, a lot of time, which is difficult when I've got a young family. I've got a wife who needs me as well and stuff like that, but it's something I'm really going to dedicate as much time as I possibly can to improve myself as a boxer and potentially a person as well. So, white collar boxing, what is it? It's a term that I'd heard but not really knew what it meant, if that makes sense. So, according to Wikipedia, white collar boxing is a form of boxing in which people in white collar professions train to fight at special events. Most have had no prior boxing experience. I throw myself fully into that. I have 0 prior boxing experience. I love boxing. Genuinely love boxing. It's something that I'm such a big fan of. And apart from hitting a bagger a few times and thinking I'm tough, you know what I mean? I'm also smart enough to know that if I open the ring with someone who is a boxer, I'm going to get pummeled. You know what I mean? So yeah, white collar boxing is for guys like me who have never boxed before, don't know really what they're doing, especially when it comes to the techniques. And I think the main thing for me is everyone thinks they can throw a punch. I genuinely believe I can hit harder than Mike Tyson. I don't. That was a joke, by the way. But how do you not get hit? And I'll be honest, I'm not scared to take a punch, but at the same time, I don't want to take one. I'd rather not if I can help it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to train my arse off and get myself to the best version of me that I can be, with the hope of not having my nose bent any more than it already is, because I've already broke my nose once before. I don't fancy that happening again. Bloody hurts. I'll be honest. But to go back to Wikipedia again, so on the page it talks about the bouts. So the bouts, the fights, are usually 3 2-minute rounds, which is what I'm going to be doing. I am training. I've already started training, sort of pre-training training, if that makes sense, for the last few weeks. My target is to aim for 5 3-minute rounds, because in my head, if I can train for 5 3-minute rounds, 3 2-minute rounds are going to be easier. That being said, at the moment in my training, I'm not getting punched back. A bag does not hit you back. Shadow boxing, there's no one there. My nose, my chin, my eyes, they're pretty safe at the moment. My ribs, and all that. That might change when someone is actually throwing punches back at me, and I'm sure it will. So yeah, 3 2-minute rounds. This is specifically white collar boxing. The first large gala events included the Boodles Boxing Ball series attended by Prince Harry, as well as the hedge fund fight night, raising over $200,000 for charity. Okay? So you can see maybe why I'm interested in doing this. Not that I'm going to see any of that money, but I am going to talk specifically about the charity that I am helping on this event to raise money for and awareness. In 2005, a purely non-profit black tie gala at London Hilton, organised by the David Adams Leukemia Appeal Fund and Mr. King, with more than 950 black tie dinner guests, raised over £100,000 for the Royal Marsden Hospital Cancer Campaign on the night. It was the largest event of its kind until 2013. In 2009, a gala at Suntec Singapore Exhibition and Convention Centre staged by Vanda Promotions had more than 900 black tie guests. On 18th of July 2009, the Channel Island of Jersey held its first white-collar boxing event. 9 fights were watched by over 600 paying black tie guests at the Hotel de France, raising about £15,000 for local charities. In 2009, Ultra White Collar Boxing hosted their first event in Derby and soon become the largest company organising events in the UK. They hold events in over 110 towns and cities across the UK and have raised over £40 million to date through ultra events for charities across the UK since they began fundraising in 2013. One of the newest names in the industry is Premier White Collar Boxing, hosting sold-out shows at glamorous venues. It gives the boxers opportunities to raise money for charity of their choice. It goes on and on and on. You can see the theme of what white collar boxing can do. I think for people who don't understand boxing, I said I'm a couch fan. You know, I love boxing, but I'm someone who will watch boxing all the time at home. I love it. And I'm the kind of guy, I'll watch the big fights. But I'll watch two guys I've never heard of because I just love boxing. I think for people who don't understand it, it's just two people beating the hell out of each other. It's more than that. And I'm going to touch on this later in the episode, I know I am. But boxing has such a power for good. And this is just one of them where so much money is being raised for great causes, great charities, and honestly, it's boxing has such a power to do good that I think the sheer fact that it's two people who are trying to beat the living snot out of each other. Unless you're a boxing aficionado, you know, someone who watches the sport, all you see is two thugs throwing punches. The people who get to know the sport, and it's like any sport, unless you actually know the rules, know the techniques, start learning things, you don't fully understand it. You start to learn the different techniques, the different styles, the counter punching, the blocks, the guards, the movement, the footwork, and then you realise the dedication that it took before it even got to the fight night. You think, great, fights on, two people have just turned up. No, they spent months breaking their back to get into that ring into the best physical and mental shape they can be. Pure dedication. That's why I'm such a big fan of boxing, and why once the opportunity come up for me to do it out of the blue, I'm like, yes, I want to do that, because genuinely, I think it can improve me as a person, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to love it. I hope I win. I don't care if I lose, as long as I don't get too badly hurt, like, you know what I mean. I think myself personally, the training side of it, I'm looking forward to as much as the fight. Let's wait till I'm a month in and I have muscles aching that I didn't even know existed, and let's see if I'm still looking forward to that training side of it, because I've spoken to guys and they're like, you're gonna get punished. The fight's the easy bit. We'll see. We'll see. So the boxing event that I'm fighting at, I already said I'm actually fighting against a mate of mine. Now, when I agreed to do the boxing match, when I say I agreed, when I jumped at the opportunity because I was desperate to do it, the boxing promoter said, great, we've got a fighter lined up for you. A mate of mine called Hadley. And when he told me that, I said, but I like Hadley. He's a mate of mine. I'd already had words with another lad and said, yes, I'm fighting. I hope they pair me up with someone that either I don't like or I don't know. So I pulled a face and I said, but he's a mate of mine. And he went, it's boxing. You know, it is what it is. Now, the thing that scares me is, one, can I bring myself to try and box someone that I like? I'm going to have to. You know, I'm going to have to come to grips with that, yeah, I might go for a pint with him afterwards and there will be no bad blood all the way through. But I'm going to have to go into that ring for 6 minutes and forget that he's someone who, if he needed something, he can ring me, message me, and I'll sort him out. And vice versa. I'm going to have to forget that for that 6 minutes. Or 8 minutes if you include the time in the corner between rounds. And the ring walk and everything. So for an hour, I've got to forget the fact that he's a mate of mine. Added to that as well, because he's a mate of mine, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose, because then I'm never going to hear the end of it. So although I don't want to throw punches at him, at the same time, I don't want him hitting me, so I better make sure I'm throwing punches at him. And these are the same things that are going to be going through his head as well. But he's doing it for the same reason, for the same charity, for the same everything as I am. And that is to raise money, first and foremost, because charities need money. We don't see any of that money. You know, we're volunteers for a charity. We do a lot of sort of advertising type stuff to encourage guys to come forward and talk about their mental health. So it's also a way to raise awareness, and that's what we want to do, because the charity I'm going to bring up, and if you've watched this channel already, you know it's a charity that is close to my heart. We want to raise awareness. We want to encourage guys to step forward and seek help if they need it. My thinking is, talking about your mental health and being open, being honest, seeking help, stuff like that, is it's one of the very toughest things, if not the toughest thing I've ever had to do for myself. You know, I've been through stuff with family members that are difficult, But this is me holding up a mirror to myself, looking at the reflection and saying, right, I need to do something about this. That is hard. And then doing something about it is even bloody harder. I suppose in my mind, if I'm willing to step into a ring, get punched in the face, and then afterwards say, come forward and talk. Hopefully a few guys will say, that dude's never boxed before and he's getting punched in the face. You know, that's the thought process. So the charity that the boxing event is raising awareness for, raising funds for, money for, is Andy's Man Club, which, again, if you've watched his channel, previous episodes, cards on the table, I come very close to taking my own life years ago. This place helped to save my life, along with my wife, along with good mates and stuff like that. But this place actually showed me that it's not weak to have a mental health problem, mental health issue. It's not weak to actually try and do something about it. And if you don't talk about it, it just builds up to the point where you only see one way out. Or at least that was my experience anyway. And yeah, I come so close to taking my own life. And I know so many people who have used this group across the country in a very similar situation. And one of the hardest things they've ever done is walk through the doors for the first time. Because I help to run a group now, new person turns up, and I love talking. You know, I got a big mouth. I do. Big heart as well, though. I do have a big heart, and I genuinely care. I can see the fear in people, and I will pull them to one side and I'll have a good chat and say, well done. Like, genuinely, because it's one of the toughest things you'll ever do. But bloody hell, it's worth it. Because I didn't want to come in for the first time. That was years ago. So my view is now that if I can step into what is a very masculine, macho arena, scene, whatever, where guys are throwing hands at each other, you know, and they're boxing, and it's all about being tough and all that bravado and stuff, and I can step into a ring, have my guard up, throw those punches, and then afterwards say, dudes, come forward and talk, because it doesn't make you weak. Hopefully that message can resonate with some guys. One person hears that and thinks, that dude with the black eye and busted nose just told me that talking is a lot harder than this. But he'll be there on a Monday night to help me through the door. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I can do it. If he can train for months and then get beaten up, maybe I can do it, you know what I mean? So that is the charity we're raising money for, raising awareness for. It's going to be the third one that I have. The first two I played a very, very, very minuscule, microscopic part of. Like I said, I was just in a mate's corner when he put all the effort in, all the training in, stepped into the ring, got punched in the face, threw punches back the other way, and so much credit to Tom Newell for like his dedication. And honestly, I've seen him lose weight. I've seen him become more focused as an individual, and probably when you're in it, it's more difficult to see, but the change that he has made in himself from using boxing as a tool to use it, I'm like, to achieve it, should I say, I want to do that. I want to do that. He is dedicated the last 9 months of his life to boxing. I have a young family, a wife with several health conditions. I might not be able to dedicate as much time as I can as he has, but I will dedicate as much time as I can because he's had such a positive effect on other people as well as himself. I want to do that. Hadley, the guy I'm fighting, he's doing it for the same reason. He's doing it because he wants to help himself, he wants to improve himself, but if you can improve yourself whilst helping other people, that's a win-win. You know what I mean? So, there we are. I am November the 8th. I am going to be stepping into the ring. Honestly, I could step into the ring tomorrow and enjoy it, if that's the right word. Think that I'm prepared. And in my heart, know that I'm doing it for the right reasons. But when I use my head, I need some training. I need some training. You know, it's not very often that my head rules my heart. It's not. Usually with me, it works the other way around. And then once I've thought about it, I think, bloody hell, my heart is sending me down the wrong bloody path again. You know what I mean? I know I need some training. I am a novice completely. I've sparred. I sparred recently, a few months ago, with Tom. That was good fun. And prior to that, the last time I sparred with anyone was over 10 years ago. I've hit a bag. I've always had punch bags because I enjoy boxing. It makes me look tough as well. You know what I mean? At least in my own head, makes me look tough. And that's as far as my boxing experience goes. I am a novice. I'm a novice with a big heart and dedication to learn and to do the best I can and to listen to the people who are going to be teaching me, listen to the advice, and try and hone in my skills to not let myself down. I want to win. I want to win. If I go in and lose, and I lose because Hadley is a better fighter, and I've given it my all and I'll make myself proud, then I've won. That's where I see it. This is probably the worst shit talking you've ever heard from a boxer about an opponent beforehand. You know, if I was to start shit talking, it would be such a lie. Everyone who knew me would know, including the guy in boxing. So I'm being honest. I want to win, and I'm going in there to win. And I want to walk out of there and go to the bar and buy the lad I'm fighting a pint and some shots and maybe a dirty kebab afterwards, because all that boxing training for months, I think we both earned a nice greasy kebab, lots of extra chili sauce and all that stuff. So with regards to the training, I already said that this is it's something I'm looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to it because I already do. I lift weights anyway. I do some cardio stuff. I actually enjoy having a training program that I follow. And I do follow a training program because if I didn't have the program to follow, I think I can't be arsed today. You know what I mean? Whereas when I have a program and I know say Monday's a push day, Tuesday's a pull day, Wednesday's legs. That's what I tend to do, then repeat. If I didn't have that and it's just, what am I going to do today? It's easy to just say, can't be asked today. Tomorrow I'll just do an extra 3 reps or so, and you know what I mean, or 3 sets or an extra exercise or whatever it may be. I personally need that thing to guide me along the way to strive towards. I think the boxing training, because I have that mindset where I need something to keep pushing me, having that boxing training and an end date in mind as well, where November the 8th, I'm going to be stepping into the ring. I need to be peak me. That's going to keep me dedicated and motivated to give it my all. And do you know what? There is such a positive mental outcome from doing physical exercise. I can be having a bad day, and you know, I go in bad day when you are not feeling the best mentally. You feel tired. You know, it does have an effect on your physical levels. When I force myself to go and lift a barbell over my chest and do some bench presses and do some tricep push downs and whatever it might be, whatever day it is, I'm not feeling it, but I go and do it. Afterwards, I'm like, do you know what? It was not my best workout, but it was a million times better than if I'd not done it, and actually my mental clarity has improved. That's what I found with myself. Actually doing physical stuff helps me mentally. I'm hoping boxing then takes that to the next level and just increases that. And I think it's something that if this fight is a one and done type thing and I never do it again, I think I'll keep the boxing training up. Maybe not as hard as I'm going to be pushing it, because I'm going to push myself, not to the limit, but pretty damn close. Because as I said, I want to be peak me come November the 8th. So the mental health benefits of boxing, a knockout solution for mind and body wellness. And this is on mind.com. Boxing, a sport that combines physical prowess with mental agility, offers more than just a way to break a sweat. Beyond the ring, boxing can significantly have a positive impact on your mental health. Let's lace up our gloves and explore the surprising benefits to well-being of boxing. And although I've only been training for a couple of weeks, and although I've not hit it intensely yet, I'm already feeling this. Like, genuinely, I'm already starting to feel the benefit. So, stress relief. I have a new baby. She is 4 weeks old today. She does not like to sleep during the night. I love that little arsehole. She is a pain in the ass. And she is my little miracle baby. But sometimes you have something like that, or there are other things going on in my life as well where you're like, do you know what? Stress builds up a little bit, doesn't it? And that's why I go to a talking group to talk about this stuff. But stress relief with regards to boxing, yes, it does have that effect on you as well. So life throws punches, and sometimes we need an outlet. Boxing provides a healthy way to release stress and pent-up emotions. As you throw jabs, hooks and uppercuts, you're not only working out your muscles, but also shedding stress. The rush of endorphins, the feigned runner's high, can leave you feeling much calmer. and tired. It does wipe you out. But yes, definitely. Boost confidence. Every punch thrown is a confidence booster. With every combination, you gain a sense of power and skill. As your technique improves, so does your self-assurance. Confidence gained in the ring spills over into other areas of life, making you more resilient and ready to face challenges. I am hoping for that. Improves concentration and coordination. Boxing demands precision. Footwork, timing, and punch placement requires intense focus. As you hone these skills, your concentration and coordination improve. It's like a mental workout that sharpens your mind. I 5-6 months ago done a bit of pad work, done the gym before I'd done sparring with a mate of mine, and what I noticed was I was landing some decent combos and then tripping myself up because my footwork was bloody awful. Who knew that throwing hands, who knew genuinely throwing hands comes so much down to what your feet are doing? I've done a lot of work in the last couple of weeks on footwork, and I've noticed the improvement, and that's another thing as well. When you realise that you are improving on something, that's something you want to give yourself a pat on the back for. Keep working on it. That's sort of a message for life, not just boxing, but my footwork has improved so much, and I'm proud of how my footwork has improved because it's something I have focused on, so I knew it was an issue and I can see the positive. Mindfulness emotion. Boxing forces you to be present. When you're dodging, weaving and working on your strategy, there's no room for distractions. This mindfulness, awareness and focus, being in the moment, can spill over into daily life, helping you to stay grounded and aware. It popped into my head, but a quote from Mike Tyson: everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Something like that. I love that quote. And it's true, life is like someone throwing punches at you sometimes, shit can come at you from all angles and you need to adapt and adjust. Community and connection. Boxing gyms foster camaraderie, part of a team, sparring partners, sharing victories. The sense of belonging reduces feelings of isolation and boosts mental well-being. Being part of a club can be a great way to meet people and make friends. I am... What date are we on today? Start of September. So 2 months prior to fight night, I'm joining in a boxing gym. I'm training alone or with people around me at the moment. Start of September, which will be 9 weeks or so before fight night, I am joining a boxing gym, and I'm looking forward to that community side of it. Anger management. Rather than punching walls or slamming doors, probably won't pick up on the camera, but I have a lovely war wound on my hands where one of my bones in hand is snapped in half, and that's because I tried having a fight with a wall and the wall won. That was when I was 20. Anger, especially when I was younger, was an issue of mine. That's why I've always had punch bags since then, for that reason. So yeah, I can definitely see the positives of that. Endurance and resilience. Boxing teaches resilience. When you're tired, battered, and still pushing forward, you learn to endure. These mental qualities can translate beyond the gym, helping you face life's challenges head on. I was just saying that about like bench press and whatever. When you're having a shit day and still make yourself do it. You know what I mean? And then empowerment in the ring. You're not just fighting opponents, you're battling self-doubt and limitations. Each round is a victory over fear. This empowerment seeps into your mindset, helping you to feel unstoppable. So, in summary, remember, boxing isn't just about physical strength. It's a mental game too. So step into the ring, throw those punches, and discover the transformative power of this ancient sport. See what it can do for your mind and body. If you would like to give boxing a go, why not look up join a local club. Blah de blah de blah. There you go. So that is what I know. As I said, the training side of stuff, I'm looking forward to as much as the actual fight night. Which sounds crazy, because I know it's going to be a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. But I know the positive effects that it can have. And I can't wait. I genuinely cannot wait. It's just roll on. At the moment I am doing 6 days training. So my current plan is 3 days strength training, which is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My boxing training is a Tuesday, Thursday, and a Sunday. Saturday's a day off. You need that day off. You do. It's something that I cannot wait to do. I cannot wait to. I'm already doing it. I cannot wait to get to the gym for a couple of days a week at the boxing gym and actually learn the techniques, get that camaraderie, and really sort of knuckle down on my skills. You know what I'm saying? Or at least learn some skills to start with, should I say. It's something that I am absolutely buzzing for. Like, genuinely buzzing for. I should be nervous. I should be. And maybe come fight night or the week or two before, maybe some of those nerves will set in. Right now, I'm like, just want to go. I just want to go. I am just desperate to hop in that ring. Every time I'm training, like, now I have, to put it into context, when I was, say, bench pressing, go to that, everyone knows what bench press is. Bench pressing, I'd hit the sort of 9th, 10th rep, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that'll do. Now I'm like, I got a boxing match. There's 2 or 3 left in me. And I am forcing them out. Even in the last couple of weeks. So I do, when I'm doing the boxing training side of it, I start with jump rope. I then go into some bodyweight stuff. Press ups, I used to struggle with, and I'd be like, right, 5 rounds of press ups, and I get to 5, 6, 7. I'm like, bloody hell, I'm tired. That'll do. Now, every time I do it, it's 10 minimum. So in total, I'm smashing out 50 press ups. Now, are they going to be the best press ups in the world? No. They're decent, you know what I mean? But I can see that progression and that determination where I just want to improve everything that I'm doing to make myself tip-top shape for the fight night. So I found this article, which is brilliant. It is titled, where have I just lost it to? Bear with me a second. The Fight Camp, How to Train Like a Fighter. So, the Fight Camp. Let's see how to train like a fighter, because I want to be a fighter. At least when I step into the ring in November, I at least want to not embarrass myself, if that makes sense. I want to look like I've at least put the effort in, and the effort is there. The effort will be there. But so here we go. What is a fight camp? A fight camp is traditionally a 6 to 8 week training camp leading up to a fight. I think I've got about 9 when I get into it seriously with the actual boxing gym and everything like that. The camp can be shorter or longer depending on how much notice a fighter gets in advance. Usually a fighter uses that time to cut weight, which I need to lose a little bit, get in peak conditioning and spar people that resemble their opponent. I think I'm actually going to be, probably not what you should be doing, but I'm going to be having a couple of sessions with my opponent. Fighters use a variety of tactics to accomplish this. In this article, I will share a few. So here we go. This is what it's going to entail over the next couple of months. Fight camp training. So depending on your goals and your schedule, you and your coach or team will adjust your fight camp training accordingly. Here are the basic elements and parts of the fight camp that fighters do to stay in fighting shape and ensure they're ready for the next big bout. I'll go through them. I'll give my own thoughts on what I'm looking forward to and what I'm definitely not looking forward to as well, if that comes up. So the first one is road work. Running is essential for fighters because it conditions your legs and your lungs. Some people believe in sprinting, while others prefer running long distances. There are pros and cons to each. Short sprints work for your fast twitch muscles and resemble the short spurts of action in a fight. Long distance running helps condition your legs, which is necessary especially for long fights that last 8 to 12 rounds, which I don't have. Running long distance is also good for your mind because it builds mental fortitude, which is key for boxers before and during a fight. So with regards to running, I love running. I genuinely love running. It's something that, like with all exercise, it has such a positive effect on your mind state, on your mental well-being. Running is something I'm a huge fan of doing. My knees, however, not so much. One knee in particular. So years ago I'd done half marathon, and again it was I trained myself to do it to the point when I'd done the 14 miles it was easy. I could have gone further because I was training to run 20 miles, and building myself up to train to that. I like to not train myself to where I need to be. I like to go above it, so when it comes to the main thing, it's easier. However, I then blew out my left knee playing football. I love running. The cardio side of it does not affect me. I can run pretty decent distances. The thing that does me is my left knee does not like it, and it balloons up like a beach ball. So that's one to take into account. I might have to adjust that for myself. I have an exercise bike. I'm doing cardio on that exercise bike, and I'm trying to not nurse my knee because my knee's fine. My knee is fine unless I run. And not run once. If I run consistently for a few weeks, my knee says bollocks to this. I know that about myself, so I don't do problems, I do solutions. I will do short runs and top off that cardio with bike work and sparring work and all that stuff, and my cardio will not let me down. I will make a damn sure of that. So the next one on this page is jumping rope. Do you know, when I got myself a skipping rope, call it a jumping rope, it sounds better because calling it a skipping rope, I felt like I was a child. I genuinely did. Even though I watch boxing, I love the Rocky films. Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my favourite films. Love that film. I love boxing. They're always on a jumping rope. But actually getting one yourself and doing it, you feel like you're an adult trying to do kid stuff. That's part of it as well. You have to, especially if you're going to be fighting in front of a few hundred people, get that out of your head, and do what you need to do. I've gone from being not embarrassed, but like trying to hide the fact that I'm using a jumping rope to, I do it out in the garden. If anyone sees me, I don't care. And especially when I'm smashing out like 100, 200 in a go, whatever, I'm like, could you do it? Laugh at me now. You know what I mean? I could do like 5 when I started, and then I'll be tripping myself up. So again, going back to footwork, which I already mentioned earlier in this video, with practice, the more you practice, the better you become, the more comfortable and confident you become in doing it, and then it just becomes like second nature. So a jump rope is a staple piece of equipment in most fight gyms. Skipping rope is a great way to warm up your legs and calves, both for boxing workouts and before fight. Plus, it's amazing cardio. I love it too because it gives you the opportunity to express yourself with tricks and different rhythms. With regards to the tricks, the only trick I think I have learned so far with regards to jump rope is that when I try and do tricks, I trip myself up. That is a master trick that I've learned so far. So for now, I'm just going straight. You know what I mean? I can do the occasional crossover, but that's it. And when I do it, I'm like, yes, I've done a thing. Yes. And that's kind of how I am with skipping in a minute. But it is great cardio, and honestly, it's made me lighter on my feet. It's got me used to being on my toes, ready to move and all that stuff. So, although it seems like it is something we all done as kids, it's such a great tool that has helped my footwork, as well as my fitness, but my footwork especially, and my movement and stuff like that, has helped me incredibly. The next one, which I still feel, at the moment I'm working out at home, so my weights are indoors. I have a punch bag outside in the garden. I have no issue going on the punch bag. I can do that in front of people, don't care. I'm in the zone. I'm focusing on that bag. I'm hitting that bag. I'm trying to use the techniques that I'm learning all the way through. Not a problem. Shadow boxing, however, I have not become confident and comfortable doing that in the garden where people may see me. So this is something where I will start my workout outside, and I'll come inside, do my shadow boxing where no one's going to see me, and then I'll go back out and finish my boxing workout. Don't know why with certain things I am very self-conscious. But I tell you what, shadow boxing, I thought, when I used to see people doing shadow boxing, I thought, what are you doing? Like, there's no one there. Until I'd done shadow boxing myself, and I realised, bloody hell, how hard is that? Because it genuinely is, and it's something that it took me by surprise. Genuinely took me by surprise. So shadow boxing is crucial for a fighter to warm up and perfect techniques in the mirror. When you shadow box, you watch yourself in the mirror as you refine your punches and kicks. Not kicks, I'm not doing kickboxing. I think I'll get banned from that, I'll lose. Shadow boxing is also a tool the fighters use to simulate a fight with an imaginary opponent and warm up. So I don't have a mirror. I do have a window with a reflection that works perfect. I have a spot on that window that I'm aiming for, not literally the window itself, but that's where my punches are going. I have in my head, there is a face there, there is a body there, there are punches coming back at me, and it's a lot of it is mental. You know what I mean? You need to be switched on, and it genuinely stimulates my brain, because I'm constantly thinking, what's the fighter doing? Coming towards me, sort of thing. So the shadow boxing, I love it. I do 3-minute rounds. When at the moment, that may change, but at the moment, that's what I'm doing. It gets a sweat on, because you think about it, when you throw a punch and you hit a bag, you're not losing all that energy because there's a force at the end of it. When you are throwing a punch and nothing, you're basically throwing the energy away. Shadow boxing is bloody hard. It's bloody tiring. You work a sweat up. But what it's done for me is it's helped me with my footwork as well. I said earlier in this video that when I've done some pad work, I was kind of tripping over my feet. Now my feet are so wide apart and set, and my feet movement, it's little. When you train, no matter what it is, obviously I'm talking about boxing because I'm doing boxing, I'm training for boxing. But when you train, if you put in that effort and that thought process, you improve. And footwork, over just a few weeks, I've noticed so much already, which was the thing that was worrying me the most, was my footwork. But just from training and focusing on it, it's really working. And honestly, shadow boxing, you feel a bit of a wally when you're punching air. Once you can get past it, at least in my experience, once you can get past that bit, I love shadow boxing. I'm not comfortable doing that in front of people yet. Hopefully that'll come. And then I'll be that crazy guy walking through town just punching air all the time. And like, what you did? Sparring. I've not done any sparring as of yet, but I will be. But sparring is essential for fighters' timing. You can hit a heavy bag and use focus mitts all you want, but a punching bag does not move that much or hit back, which I've already mentioned that a punching bag does not hit you back. When you spar, you really get an idea of where your strengths and your weaknesses are, and it's the closest thing you can get to simulating an actual fight. Pad work, I have some pads. I just need people to do the pad work with me, which will be happening in the next couple of weeks. And having done it once, I love a bit of pad work. It's great fun. It genuinely is. And then have heavy bag training. Hitting a heavy bag is for developing power and conditioning your punch muscles. That's one of the reasons why our product is called Fight Camp. Our gym takes bag work to another level. This is talking about this specific website, but I have a heavy bag in the garden. I love going on that. But I actually put that at the end of my workout. And the reason for that is it's the most fun part. So do it when you're most tired, and then you'll be more motivated to keep going and work through those sweats. And when I'm doing that, I'm doing 5 2-minute rounds. I'm on the actual fight night itself, I'm only doing 3 2-minute rounds. So once I'm already fatigued and tired and ready to call it quits because of all the training that I've done in that session I've done, then I do the heavy bag work. 5 2-minute rounds. Work on some of the techniques, work on some of the combos that I've been trying to make myself do, work on those power shots, head body, jab straight, all that stuff. Try and put them together. Wipe myself out for 2 minutes and then get used to having a minute to get a drink. And then get myself up for the second round. Speedball or double-ended bag training. I do not have that. I wish I did, but once I start going to the boxing gym, I'm sure I will. Strength and conditioning. I used to do strength training 6 days a week, only at home, so I don't have the best equipment, heaviest weights and everything like that, but I am used to strength training. My muscles have a level of endurance already and a level of strength already. So I am now doing strength training 3 days a week, and then the other day 3 days a week. Boxing. Now this is a hard one for me. Recovery. And do you know what? It actually says here at the start here. People often overlook the importance of recovery. After a tough training session, your muscles are inflamed, and the faster you can recover, the faster you can get back to work. There are many different recovery modalities like ice baths, massage, hyperbaric chambers, foam rolling, lots of sleep. I don't have a bath at home, I have a walk-in shower, so I'm not sure how I'd do an ice bath. Massage, I can ask my wife, but I don't know. Hyperbaric chambers, bloody hell, how much money do you think I've got? Lots of sleep. I have 3 young kids. However, foam rolling is something I actually do. And foam rolling, I really enjoy it. Bloody hurts sometimes, but I love a good foam roll. And it's something you can do for yourself, and you can pick up a foam roller quite cheap. So that is something that I do use. And then we got what does a day in a fight camp look like? So fight camp schedule 1, 6 a.m. 3-mile run, 7, 4 rounds of shadow boxing, 4 rounds of pad work, 4 rounds of heavy bag work. And then in the evening, 3 rounds of jump rope, strength and conditioning, abs, and then a massage. This is just a sort of a template of the kind of thing that some boxers do. I'm buzzing for this. I am buzzing for this. I cannot wait to keep training, improve myself, improve my skills, but improve my mental fortitude, become stronger mentally as well as physical. And do you know what? How many people can actually say, I had a boxing match? There's not very many people that can actually say that. Lots of people have said, yeah, I play football. I love football, by the way. Still my favourite sport. Boxing's my second favourite sport. I never thought I would do it. And I'm doing it. And actually, do you know what? I'm proud of the fact that I'm doing it. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm so buzzing. Because I'm like, do you know what? It's something I feel I need to pat myself on the back for. And I know I'm going to do everything I can to not let myself down. And I can't wait. I can't wait. So that's just a little podcast just to explain what I have foolishly signed myself up for. And even more foolishly, I'm looking forward to so much. This channel will continue to be a mouthpiece for men's mental health. It's something that I'm very passionate about. However, over the next few months, there are going to be some updates on my boxing training, the goods and the bads, and hopefully some behind the scenes type stuff, and maybe some fight night type stuff as well, and a bit of enjoyment regarding that. But like I said, it will continue to be a channel that primarily discusses men's mental health. And that's actually the reason why I'm fighting in the first place. Also, I really want to do it. I'm really genuinely looking to have a bit of a tear up and a bit of a scrap. So yeah, If you want to see some video and pictures of me getting beaten up, or maybe doing a bit of beating up myself, who knows, but also interested in men's mental health and trying to spread the message that, you know, guys can struggle and life is a bitch sometimes, but there's some positivity out there as well, then please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video, like, share, all that jazz. So yeah, I think that's me done for tonight. The last webpage I brought up says I need to get some sleep, so I always do what I'm told. Alright. Till next time, I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.